My name is Desiree. I am an artist and I'm also a boxer. I'm from Tampa, Florida, and I received my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from the University of South Florida. There I majored in electronic media and I minored in art history with an emphasis in critical theory. I earned my Master of Fine Arts degree from the University of California, Santa Barbara. My graduate studies emphasis was new genres. New genres is a contemporary realm, arguably more complex and convoluted than the discernible or traditional art practices of the past. And what I did and what I still do in many ways defies categorization. My art practice is integrated with amateur boxing. I see boxing as a potent topic in terms of contemporary sports and gender studies, especially since it was announced that women boxing is debuting in the 2012 London Olympics. I couple gender and athlete demographics while dissolving traditional fields and boundaries, and I implement a rigorous artist-turned-athlete training regimen with the aims of exploring the intersection between visual art and the noble art of boxing. I utilize the internet to document and broadcast my progress and related boxing artworks through my website, my blog, and my YouTube videos. This journey that I'm on of sculpting my body into that of a competitive athlete is as much a private journey as well as it is a public one. And through sharing the documentation of my sweat and sacrifice, I hope to transform the physical work that I do into an intellectual encounter. And even though I'm heavily invested in this transformative process, I'm always well aware of the conceptual and the theoretical framework that grounds my practice. And I find that a lot of what I do is in accordance with Deleuzean philosophy. I want to strip the seemingly implicit separation that exists between art and athleticism. And the goal for my practice is to engage new hybrid practices that reconstruct, re-territorialize, and recontextualize these fields in front of a collective physical and virtual audience. I want my work to target immediate contemporary issues, and when I say that I mean everything, addressing from performance studies, sports politics, race, gender, identity formation, and spaces and sites of resistance. Ultimately, the discernible line between art and life disintegrates. Many of the artists that I find most influential for my practice also explore this. Eleanor Anton is an American artist working predominantly in video, photography, and performance. My favorite work is her 1972 photographic and conceptual piece titled Carving, a Traditional Sculpture. She photographed herself every day from 4 angles over a period of 36 days to record her 10-pound weight loss. Anton's piece is an icon of the 70s feminist art movement, in which women artists created works that, in general, questioned the male gaze, social definitions of beauty, and their role in the art world. Another performance artist that I admire is Ching Xie. He is best known for his series of one-year durational performances, in which frequently the rigorous documentation of each piece results in an overwhelming archiving process. And his pieces frequently depict feats of stamina and explorations of time and space and struggle. And his work is very much about the way in which art and life are integrated.
To me, I feel art is not like a career, it's my life.
These artists inspire me because I think that their involvement with process and performance is very similar to how a boxer trains, how any dedicated athlete trains, really.
Pain is temporary. Eventually, it will subside, and something else will take its place. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. If you're going to be successful, you've got to be willing to give up sleep. If you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful. That's how bad you got to want it. The most important thing is this: to be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become.
I think that in archiving my training, my boxing progress, and trying to take steps onto the amateur boxing competition scene, I'm looking to answer questions. Not only questions that I ask myself, but larger social questions as well. Can I do this? Can other women do this? What is the role of women athletes in today's society? What are the opportunities available for these women to compete at elite levels and as professionals? What does it mean to be an artist exploring this, and especially to be a woman exploring this sport which is predominantly male? The question that I get most frequently in relationship to my work is, why did you choose boxing? Why risk it? And when I think about the root of that question, I think in many ways boxing chose me. The sport of boxing has always resonated with me. It's had a profound impact on my relationship with my father. My father was a street fighter and a prison fighter. I remember I used to watch televised fights with him when I was a child, and there are other reasons why I chose boxing as my medium as well, though. And the other part of boxing that intrigues me is its innate poetics. The personal, the intimate, the individual. That nature of the sport is very captivating for me as a metaphor for the battles that we all must face. And the way I see it, there really is no ringside, right? We're all in this fight. I began this practice in August of 2010 when I became acquainted with the former Southern California Golden Gloves champion, Henry Calles. He is the owner of Duke's Boxing and Fitness Gym in Isla Vista, California. And ever since that first day at the gym, I signed up and I've been training and exploring boxing as art ever since. And in addition to the tremendous health advantages, I was actively exploring the interaction, the intersection, the reception, and the questions and challenges that the pursuit of boxing in an art context raises. Engaging the sport of boxing as my medium has generated varied works that have ranged from athletic vinyl banners, found object displays in the gear and the equipment associated with the sport, and a variety of boxing performances. In 2011, I executed an endurance performance in collaboration with Hall of Fame boxing historian David Martinez. I turned my art studio, which was based under the Harder Stadium bleachers, into a modest boxing training facility. And there I engaged in a public endurance session which lasted 4 hours. I trained incessantly for 2-minute rounds with 1-minute intervals. And visitors to this space, needless to say, were surprised, and they were somewhat intimidated actually by the noise that contaminated the entire building. The rapid pound of a speed bag being worked and the grunts and slams of power combinations against a heavy bag. And a lot of people many wondered what exactly I was doing and how it related to an art context. And in order to investigate this concern, David Martinez would help sort of narrate along and would help the viewer make the connection that one must review my artistic record similar to how one would investigate a fighter. For my MFA thesis exhibition, I turned Gallery 479 into a training facility where bouts were waged on a self-constructed, fully dressed boxing ring as a type of artistic performance and vice versa. The venue that hosted the culmination of these efforts was a site of particular interest. The UCSB Old Gym Gallery 479 is a site imbued with athletic history and still features the rustic floors dating from when the space was a recreation center prior to 1949. The interplay of activating the current gallery and the historical use of the space was invigorating for the context of holding an athletic-themed art exhibition. Intellectuals, academics, frat boys, and sports enthusiasts conjoined for the exhibition, and Henry Cailles and David Martinez from the local boxing community participated in that event as well, refereeing the fights as well as working the corner. I have since moved back to Tampa. I predominantly train at Legends Boxing Club with the owner and trainer Francisco Arreola. He is a decorated boxer holding NBA and IBA world titles. I also work with Sherman Henson, who's trained numerous successful professional and amateur boxers. And I'm really excited to train with them because I feel like they understand me and my critical thinking and the motivation that I put behind putting the hard work in.
I think art and boxing go hand in hand. What artists have to be, they have to be creative. Artist has to be creative in the ring. He has to be reinvent himself. Artists are constantly reinventing themselves. Boxers, you know, every fight is a new competition. Why? Because there's different matter involved. Like two different minds. Fighters have to constantly reinvent themselves. Boxing, it's a live painting. Boxing is an intimate sport. It's totally the opposite of what people think, but it's still a relationship.
It's a great sport. It's not a team sport, it's a one-on-one. It's for the loner. Everybody's not a team player, but this is where you get your leaders.
That's the thing about boxing, like Jimmy said, it's a one-on-one sport. It's not a team sport. So as an individual, right, I have to step forward to learn from what I've gained in that. It's great territory for learning. That's what you want to put it. If you're talking about ground for learning, I think it's the best place to learn because you're learning about individuality. You're learning about how to deal with people. If I can do it, you can do it. And guess what? You end up getting one at a time, drifting over and over and over, and they become the follower of that leader because now he's the leader like Jimmy mentioned before.
In performance art, as in boxing, the body is a critical territory in question, as much as it is in transformation. Another artist whom I admire, Anne Hamilton, also taps into this recognition.
That work is made out of an active attention about how something really seemingly simple is never so, and being present and responsive to the thing that you're immediately within. All contact is crisis. To touch is always to be touched and returned. And so to touch is to be tampered with, to change, to displace, to call into question, to set something into motion. And it's of all the senses, taste and touch are the two senses that actually require contact.
The body becomes the space, and this can all be brought back to Deleuze. Deleuze can be used to trace multiple lines of thought and affect that inhabit the ideas and attitudes of the body, and analyze certain relationships to power, creativity, formation, origins, and becoming. To parallel this text, I have a favorite passage in 1,000 Plateaus that discusses smooth and striated space. And the chapter title seemingly sets up a binary opposition between smooth and striated space, nomad space and sedentary space, as he calls it. However, this binary swiftly dissolves as the two spaces in fact only exist in mixture. And so space is used not just literally in the physical sense of the word, but as an expanding definition that spans across different fields and categorical models. So for instance, the human body in many ways operates under these same terms. The body's striated and smooth properties, its simultaneous restrictions and limitations, alongside its limitless opportunity for potential, they're endlessly reverberating. And artists, athletes, individuals, inside all of our bodies are these reverberating lines. These lines connect with life, with fortune and misfortune, and these lines very well may lead to the reconfiguration and the experimentation that instigate lines of flight. Lines of flight are creative and they are liberatory escapes from standardization, oppression, the stratification of society, and they can lead in any direction. They are instances of thinking outside the box, with a greater understanding of how the box works, what the box is, and how we can break it open and perhaps transform it for the better. Now is a critical point in popular culture and sports history. Boxing and fighting are in people's immediate vocabulary. We have movies like Warrior, The Fighter, Rocky Balboa, $1 Million Baby, Fight Club. We have series like Lights Out. People want to see fighting, okay? And they want to see transformation in human potential. And simultaneously, in the sports arena, women boxers around the globe are given the first ever opportunity to participate in the 2012 London Olympics.
This is my childhood dream. This is what I wanted as a kid, but it was not possible. This is what I wanted. And when I started boxing, I had to turn pro because there was no future. I mean, you could be an amateur, but the Olympics is like an end station now. Like every young kid in the world has the right to have.
This is an amazing opportunity that will forever change boxing history. The selected women embody what Deleuze calls a people to come. And those born into this moment, into this situation, will forever transform and re-territorialize the language of the previous as well as the current social and political situation. As an artist and athlete, I see female boxers participating in the Olympics as an opportunity to enhance the experience of spectator involvement. I see it eliminating the ropes that restrict the ring and the scale of their encounters shifting from the individual to the social, as women around the world will become inspired and empowered. And as my practice and experience parallels these current events, you know, it's my hope and it's my dream that the work that I author supplies a similar conduit for broader collective engagement. And, you know, there's this quote from Deleuze, and it goes, "The author is in a situation of producing utterances which are already collective, which are like the seeds of a people to come, and whose political impact is immediate and inescapable. The author is in a position to express potential forces and to be a true collective agent, a collective leaven, a catalyst."